My in-laws live about a half a mile from Florida Tech, so every time there's a holiday and we come up to see the family for dinner, I always slip over to the school and take a look and see what's going on plant-wise. This is new to me. Community garden, I assume started by the students. And one of the beds that caught my attention was this one with a lot of native plants in it. I think that's partridge pea right there. I don't remember the common name. It's Chamaecrista fasciculata or something like that. And Biden's alba there, the Spanish needle, and looks like goldenrod and butterfly pea, I think. What is it? Clitoria terniata. So it's cool. They got a bunch of natives in this particular unit here, and so I'm wondering if they're just studying pollinators or if they're maybe trying to grow things and show the ethnobotanical value of native plants. I don't know. But anyway, I took a walk through Dent Smith and the palms, and I'll go back and we'll do a couple highlights there. A lot of stuff has really grown up nicely, so let's head over there real quick and we'll just take a couple quick looks at some palms. Here's a quick look at a couple of Tychus Parma. There's two sets of them over here. And I don't know what species they are. I confirmed they're Tychus Parma. I was looking at the seeds, but I don't know what species they are. They look different than solitaires, the elegans. The crown shafts to me look a little bit different, but it could be cultural. So, and these things are way out in the open, so that's pretty encouraging considering the latitude. There's a look at the African oil palm. There used to be two. There was a second one right here on this side of the little outcrop. But this, I think that got wiped out during the twin hurricanes about 13 years ago, or a cold snap in 2007, I can't remember. But anyway, that's the surviving one. It's just crowning the building. I think last time I made a video with this in it, it was about 5 feet shorter. It was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. So African oil palm update. Here's a triple, well, not a classic triple, but 3 Diaspora album. Looking very nice. They've definitely put on a couple of feet of trunk since the last time I was through here. I'd say they're about 15 to 18 feet overall, but they look really nice. Here's a look at a Tychus Parma Sheffrey, and it's got plenty of fruit on it right now, not quite ripe. Some of it is, so I can see some red on there. So, the one thing that's not real cool right now is there aren't any sort of replacement stems coming up, and so I hope, if anything by seed, that we get some replacements coming in. I took seed years ago of this thing, and I've got some 15 to 20 foot Sheffrey in my yard and a couple other places, so if this thing craps, at least it'll have a progeny elsewhere. But this has just always been one of my favorites. Got to be about 25 feet overall at least. And while we've got the camera on, there's a miraguama here that's sort of being crowded a little bit by a phoenix monster, and so you can't really see it very well, but you can see the families there. That's definitely put on about 4 or 5 feet of trunk in the last several years, which, considering how wet the situation is, I guess that's not a surprise. There's a pond right there, and so it has good access to water. I was astonished at how large this Livistona cerebus has gotten. I think I do have another video of this in my collection, and it was about half this size, and that wasn't that long ago. It's really grown well, and of course there's a water supply there, so this thing's never without water. So just amazing how tall that thing has gotten. There's a really nice Copra Neasha, about 15 feet overall. Don't know the species. It's one of those really large, elegant ones, but I wouldn't even begin to guess. I don't know Copra Neasha that well. So, and there's some, what I assume are Leucothrinax mauritii, laden with ripe seed. And there's another one there. Not quite as robust as the other one, but nonetheless happy. And while I got the camera on, let's just keep going down one more spot here. Astracarium mexicanum. That's put on about a foot or so in the last few years. Doing well. It's a male, and unfortunately there are no other Astracarium around, but there's a male flower there. And speaking of males, there's a Majesty palm there, Ravenea rivullaris. Lots of male inflorescence going on there. Happy pollinators. Another favorite of mine at Dent Smith is this Penanga. This thing's kind of a testament to the microclimate that exists here, because this is Melbourne, Florida. I think like 28 degrees north, Space Coast, so you wouldn't see this just sitting along the side of the road, I don't think. Well, last 10 years you would, but in the past, as long as this thing's been here, it would have been wiped out by the cold. It does get pretty cold here. So anyway, relative to Penanga, this one's always amazes me. Let me see, while I got the camera going, there's a clumping fishtail. Excuse me, there's a mangrove palm over here, Liquala spinosa, that we'll take a look at. It's also, one of the stems has put on quite a bit of height, and the other stems are catching up to it, which is great. You can see it right there. Again, this is a very inundated situation. It's always wet here. Even during the driest time of the year, the ground is always wet. So this is a perfect situation for spinosa. And over here, there's an unknown Tychus Parma that I always like to give credit to. It's kind of off the main trail, but you can see it right there. Unknown clumper, looking really nice. Zoom in, I'm too lazy to walk down there. So we'll give him a little shot of fame there. There's the resident teddy bear palm, Dipsis leptichellos. And it's got tons of old infructescence hanging off the base. I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't some volunteers at the base of the tree. I know in my yard there's a raft of volunteers. Oh, there's an old infructescence fluorescence there. Oh yeah, I can see one seedling starting up. Those are rapists that are popping up. This place has tons of rapists, Chinese fan palms, and these awful phoenix palms, these reclinatas and hybrids of reclinatas. There's a beautiful green boodia right here. I'm pretty sure it's pure boodia. And this is one of the only new additions that I've noticed in the last few years. I assume this is either a boodia or some maybe variation. Actually, it's armed. Not sure what this is. Might be a Syagris of some kind, but I don't know. Here we can see a Buras. I believe it's flabellifer. It's never really done quite well, but then flabellifer doesn't really do well here that I know of. Livistona decora and a hypheny. I think it's Thebaca, if that's saying it right. Dichotomous branching going on there. This thing is ancient. You can even see there's the old nomenclature on it. I think they called it Cranita on this old metal tag here. The new stem's starting to pop out, which is good to see. There's another Buras on the campus, and you can just, it's an amazing scale. There's sable palmetto, regular Florida native sable, and then some other kind of sable there. I'm not even going to try to guess because it's all beat up by the hurricane that we just had. And there's another sable there that could be something other than palmetto, but I don't know. And then you have, of course, the Buras, and then off to the left is a Bismarck, and or Bismarckia, and they're normally a very large palm. So just to give you scale and reference, we'll keep that Bismarck in the shot, and then hopefully, yeah, I think I'm getting both of these in. Just amazing how large those Buras get. I wish there was a Corifa somewhere nearby and we could do a Corifa comparison, but maybe someday some clever person will think to do that. There's another one of my favorites here. This is Sable meridiiformis. Quite a bit of trunk on it. That's a single story there. Being the contrarian that I am, we'll finish up the tour at the beginning of the trail. A couple of bottle of palms here, 3 bottle palms. There's the marker for the men that founded this. Let you read that for a second. And another Livistona cerebus, Livistona Marie or Marie. I don't know how to Latinize that name. What else was over here in the front? Not much, just garden variety things, so to speak. Nice little Italia starting out here. And a couple of things off to the right here worth noting. There's a Arcana phoenix here. Not sure what species it is. There may have been a tag for it at one time, but I don't remember. There's an Italia speciosa coming up there on the right behind the bench. And then behind that is another Italia. I don't know if that's speciosa as well. Lots of clumping fishtail, lots of lady palms, and lots of Chinese fan palms in this park. But there are some real gems in here. And I wish they would get more aggressive with putting more palm species in. I think there were couple hundred back when the founding gents were populating this area with palms. Be nice to see it back up to those numbers, but we'll see what happens.